It's Vinh Tran, the More Value Agent. I'm here to tell you my top tips when buying a home in Los Angeles. If you're currently interested in buying a home in Los Angeles, it's important that you do your research in order to find the right area. LA is huge. There's a community for all types. You want to get as close to finding a dream home as possible while picking the right area to live in. And it does take some research, because the one thing about Los Angeles, because every house next to each other could be completely different from the next. It's very hard to appraise, and it's very local specific. Things to know when looking for your dream home. One of the best things you can do is figure out your budget, so when you go look for homes. The best way to figure out your budget is to get pre-approved. This allows you to get a clear understanding of how much you can spend. It'll let your realtor see you as a priority buyer, and they'll be able to put more time and effort into working with you. Getting pre-approved means speaking to your lender and sending over the required documents for them to give you an idea of how much you can afford on your home. Get pre-approved before getting started, especially in a hot market like Los Angeles. Pre-approval is a must before you even start going to look at homes. Find things that resonate with you. Find your spots, neighborhoods you like. Where do you hang around? Where's your workplace? How important is it for you to go to these places? And how long do you want it to take for you to get to these places? Not everyone will be able to live where they want within their budget. So it's good to draw out what makes you enjoy these areas to see if you can find something similar, or if you can live in the surrounding area that fits you most. And your realtor can also tell you areas within your budget to take a look at. And if they already know that area, they'll kind of like tell you what areas they think might be a good fit for you based on your budget and your prerequisites. Once you draw out your area and see your budget from pre-approval, you have the base you want to figure out what areas to look in. It's good here to also figure out the traffic times in these areas. LA traffic is no joke, and you can spend hours in it. And you want to make sure that you are okay with the commute time before making a decision. And also understand that some things may not be what it seems. Well, some places might seem far away in the map, much more miles away, but they're close to a major road, major highway. It could be a shorter commute than expected. So these are things that you might have to just drive that commute to kind of figure it out on your own time when you're looking at houses, if you really like a place and it resonates with you. You know, if you're looking to build equity, the big areas right now could be Lincoln Heights, where you have some very large craftsman homes. Alhambra, people don't think that neighborhood's cool, but it's very safe, and houses are pretty, and tree-lined streets. Some vibes of Pasadena, but it's not. It has its own culture. Some of the best Asian restaurants around there. Monterey Park, I still believe these are undervalued areas. There are some areas on Ridgecrest that has views, 360 views looking over the city. Some really amazing pockets through Monterey Park that it's not really completely, not everyone knows about, right? And also talking about Southwest LA, your Hawthorne, Inglewood, SoFi Stadium's right there. These neighborhoods are turning and, becoming really awesome. Just so many different things to do in Los Angeles. Even neighborhoods such as Maywood are coming up, right? So these are areas that are up and coming that you can probably get houses for cheaper than something such as Silver Lake or Echo Park. And they're not too far away from those great neighborhoods either. And as time goes on, more and more people want to live in the city, not moving away from it. Because if you live in Boyle Heights right now, you have access to the 6th Street Viaduct, which crosses into downtown LA. One of the most beautiful bridges and just a spotlight of the city is being built and creating opportunities. Boyle Heights also creating 11 acres of green space underneath for people to enjoy. So all these things that the city's investing in to help the east side of LA really grow into its own. And also with City Terrace is another community. Small roads to get up there, but you have some of the best views in the city from City Terrace. All these neighborhoods I mentioned are in fact coming up quite a bit. They're very vibrant cities with their own culture too. And the diversity of LA is what makes it so special. Right now, it might seem scary with rising interest rates, but if you're purchasing a home for the long term, you can always refinance in 3 to 5 years when the rates do get better. But right now, it's the first time in a long time that a buyer can actually go into a house, especially a house that needs some work, and probably get that house for below asking. We have not been able to do that in the last 2 years since COVID. So right now, it's a good time to get a price for a home, a normalized price, one that's not way over asking, but houses that are done and pretty and ready to move in, those houses are still going way over asking, 100,000, 200,000 over asking with 20 offers. But the homes that need some work, right now is a good time to take a look at that. If you can get the house at a better price and you can deal with that mortgage for 2 to 5 years until if the rates get better in that time period, you can refinance. But in the pocket of Los Angeles, it feels like that the prices are normalizing, but they're not really going down very much. Something to look into are the schools and the community that you plan to purchase your home in. If schools are a major deciding factor for you and your family, I advise you do your research first. But some good areas that come up consistently are Eagle Rock, La Cañada, San Marino, Arcadia, South Pasadena, to name a few. Things to think about during your home purchase. Things to think about also is safety and homelessness around the area of your home purchase. So if you were to purchase a home or you want to get ready to make an offer for that home, I will suggest you driving there at night and seeing what the neighboring streets are like, just to get a feeling of it. While you won't get a true feel of the area unless you live there, you want to be aware of where you are and how the surrounding area is. How does it feel walking distance yourself? Can you see yourself walking your dog or going around the neighborhood, right? Things that you might not see during the day, it might be good to go check it out at night and see how you feel. And most likely, and you can deter these issues by putting up hedges of plants, things like that, to give yourself more privacy. So if you move in a neighborhood where there is some issues with homelessness outside and such, you can work on creating more privacy for your home. One of the most important parts of looking for your home is to pay attention to the parking situation. The street parking, when you went to go look at the home, how was it? If it's always fully packed during the day, most likely it's going to be packed all the time, right? So do you have, on property parking on your property, and how many parking spots? Because honestly, when you come home, last thing you want to do is go around looking for parking. And that is a sign. If a home does not have parking, it could totally affect how much the home is worth. There's tons of homes in LA, actually, that don't have parking. And you need to know if you can live with it or not, and how the street parking is in the area. But as a first-time home buyer, unless you do not have a car, I would recommend that you would have at least 2 spots for yourself in a home that you're about to purchase. Be cognizant of your lifestyle and have a base of what you want and don't want. Different areas in Los Angeles have completely different vibes. LA is a super diverse area, and walking just a few blocks in a certain direction might put you in a completely different area. If you're looking for more family-friendly areas, it might be better to look at areas a bit outside of Los Angeles, such as Pasadena, the Valley, Monterey Park, Alhambra, Eagle Rock. If you want to live in an area full of great dining and just a fantastic nightlife, you might want to check areas such as Silver Lake, Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, Echo Park. That's mainly on the east side. Santa Monica, Venice. These are all areas that are super lively, that you can walk many places throughout. You can bike around, and just a very fun part of town with tons of restaurants. West Hollywood's a great area if you want amazing nightlife, amazing restaurants, everything being close. But understand, when you live in these exciting parts of town, Highland Park also is another neighborhood that is fantastic. Lincoln Heights, lots of things coming up this way too, that that makes it very lively part of town and not very far from downtown too. So just with all these different neighborhoods offering so much nightlife and restaurants and such, right, there's a lot to pick from in Los Angeles, and that's just a small snippet of some of the neighborhoods that are some of the most fun places to live in. Another tip that I would tell buyers is if they're looking at areas where there's tons of greenery that looks absolutely phenomenal, right, such as areas as Altadena or La Cañada, you want to check if it's in the fire zone. And you want to check with that, and also check with your insurance company if they have fire insurance. Because lots of times these homes look amazing, surrounded by trees. But because of fires in Los Angeles in previous years, there is additional insurance, fire insurance that you have to pay. That could go up to $500 to $600 a month on top of your mortgage. So these are things to think about, and things that when you're working with your realtor and you see a lot of trees around, you want to ask them, hey, is this in a fire zone? And do your own research too. But a good realtor will help you, provide you that information, and also probably get the fire station to go do a check on your house if you are in a fire zone, to make sure that it meets protocol, right, to deal with fires. So all things to think about, especially in areas like Pasadena by the Rose Bowl, things like that. These things have come up, and you're seeing it more and more often in areas like Altadena, where you're seeing, wow, why is this house price so low? You realize that the fire insurance is an additional $600 a month. So things to be aware of when purchasing your home in Los Angeles. If you felt my tips were useful and you want to learn more about how to pick the right realtor, I've already made a video on that. Click here to check it out. Another great tip for buying a home in Los Angeles is when you go for a realtor who understands the area and a certain terrain, right? If there's foundations and there's river rock foundation, that's like rocks piled on top of each other, mortar. Some of the homes are over 100 years old, from the early 1900s. During that time period, if there's that type of river rock, those foundations have issues in the long term, and replacing them could be $50,000. So these are things, even though you love the home, you love everything about it, the foundation sometimes could be such a big part of the equation, and it might be a no, even though you love everything about it, unless you're willing to get into the foundation part of the home. So that's why I would recommend that for you purchasing a home, you don't just you want to get the best inspector, right? Not just the cheapest price. And if your realtor knows a good inspection company, that might be one to go with. If you need a referral for an inspection company, you can also reach out to me, Vinh Tran, the More Value Agent, and I can try to guide you in the right direction. But I would also ask you to look into an inspection for your foundation on every home that you get. If it's a concrete slab, a lot of these foundation companies will not do that because it's really hard to check underneath concrete. But anything else, they can check underneath the house for piers and posts, caissons and such, and what needs to keep the house standing, and to be earthquake retrofitted too. So I would recommend the foundation inspection, a whole house inspection, and I also recommend a sewer inspection, meaning that you check the drain line from your house going out to the city sewer. And one of the biggest tips I can tell you is if you see a ficus tree. In LA, they love these ficus trees. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're white, they're huge, bright green leaves. Everyone loves them. They shape them out, but if you look what they do to sidewalks, that's what they're gonna do to your drain line if it goes through it. So when you see ficus trees, I would recommend you get a sewer scope, a camera going into the sewer and telling you that the sewer line is not broken. And if it is being replaced, that sewer line could be somewhere in $15,000 price range, right? So another thing is get your inspections and do not be cheap on your inspections. Get everything so that you know all the information about the house, and also to ask for requests for repairs with your agent, to the seller. So these are things that I would recommend through those three main inspections. I'm Vinh Tran, the More Value Agent, and If you or anyone you know is looking to purchase a home in the Los Angeles region, please feel free to give me a call and reach out to me directly. I am here to help. If you have questions about your home purchase that you're already working with somebody, and you might need someone for inspections and such, give me a call. Anything I can do to provide value to you, I will try my best to do so. We're in the business of helping people get what they want. Buying your first home is something very scary. I've done it myself, but I think it's one of the most rewarding things if done correctly.